Today we're going to talk about some of the basics regarding the mathematics and measurements in science. And I want to start out talking about the concept of accuracy and precision and comparing accuracy and precision. Accuracy and precision are not the same thing, and it's important that the student of science understands that accuracy and precision are different concepts. Accuracy is the degree to which a measurement approximates the truth. That is to say, the degree to which the measurement that you've taken is actually correct. So if some object actually has a mass of, say, 70 kilograms, and you measure that object's mass, the closer that measurement is to 70, the more accurate the measurement is. On the other hand, precision is the degree to which repeat measurements approximate each other. And so a measurement can be inaccurate. Let's say, again, we take our hypothetical 70 kilogram mass, and you measure it on a machine 3 different times, and each time you get 61.1 kilograms. Those are not very accurate measurements, but every one of those measurements, if they're all 61.1, then they're very consistent and therefore very precise. So a measurement can be precise but not accurate. It can be accurate but not very precise, or you can have both accuracy and precision. Significant figures, which is something we have to understand very well in the study of science, is an expression of precision, not an expression of accuracy. It is an expression of precision. So the number of digits that are written down expressing a particular measurement tells you how precise the measurement is. The more significant figures, the more digits, the more precise the measurement. And generally the practice is that you write down all the numbers that you're sure of, plus one that represents an approximation. So to take a look at the concepts of accuracy and precision together, you notice this 2x2 box in which on one side you have either precise or imprecise on the left, and across the top it's either accurate or not accurate. Now, accurate means it approximates the bullseye. Inaccurate means it's not very close to the bullseye. Precise means that the x's are close together, and imprecise means the x's are not very close together. And so the first box, which is both accurate and precise, you have x's that are very close together and also very accurate, right on the bullseye. The next box down has x's that are close to the bullseye, generally, but they're not very close to each other. So you have an accurate but not precise. The third is in the upper right hand is not very close to the bullseye, but really close to each other. So you have precise but inaccurate, and that's called a systematic error, where the other one is called a reproducibility error. And then lastly, you have x's that are far apart and not close to the bullseye. So you have both problems with reproducibility and a systematic error. When you measure something, and for example, when you look at this graduated cylinder, which is used to measure the volume of a liquid, first of all, if you look on the right here, you see that you're supposed to take the reading from the bottom of the meniscus, and that curved line of fluid is called a meniscus. It's caused by the adhesive forces of the liquid to the side of the container. And basically what you have is the bottom of that curve represents the measurement. You know that 20 is correct. You know that it's between 21 and 22 milliliters. Those are the two digits that you're certain of. Then you make an estimate of what the third digit is, maybe 21.5 or 21.6. And that third one is the first degree of uncertainty. And so you have three significant figures in this measurement of 21.5. Now, there are certain rules about significant figures. When you look at a number, you should be able to tell whether or not it's how many significant figures are in the number, which represents a measurement. The first rule is that all non-zero digits are significant. So the real issue around looking at a number and telling whether or not it's significant, how many significant digits it has, is interpreting the zeros in that number, because all non-zero numbers are significant. Zeros before, that is to the left of the first non-zero digit, are never significant. What that means is that zeros to the left of a non-zero digit are generally placeholders. And if they're placeholders, they're not going to be significant. Zeros between two non-zero numbers are always significant. And then lastly, zeros after the first non-zero digit are significant if and only if a decimal is present. Again, if a decimal is present, then the zeros do not represent placeholders. If there's no decimal, then the zero is a placeholder. For example, if you write the number 10, you have a 1 and a 0. That 0 has to be there in order for you to express the number 10 as opposed to the number 1. It's just a placeholder, so that there's only one significant digit there. If you express the number 100, there's only one significant digit there. But if you put 100 period, then you're saying that those two zeros are also significant by putting the decimal in that place. So let's take a look at some and see if we can figure out how many significant digits there are. So here's one. You can formulate in your mind how many significant digits you think there are, and then I'll tell you the answer. There are 3 here, because all 3 of these digits are non-zero. So that's pretty simple and straightforward. This one has 4 because the 0 that's present is between two non-zero digits. Therefore, it is significant. So all 4 of these digits are significant, and there are 4 significant figures here. There are only 2 significant figures here because both of these zeros are simply a placeholder to distinguish this number from the number 31. If you didn't have the zeros there, you wouldn't be able to tell whether it was 31 or 3,100. But those zeros are only placeholders, therefore there are only 2 significant figures here. There are only 3 here. These ones are to the left, and remember it says that any digits to the left of the first non-zero digit are never significant. And also, these are only placeholders to distinguish this number from some other number, say 0.341 or 0.0341. So these are placeholders again, and so there are only 3 significant digits here. Now you got to be careful on this one. The fact that the person wrote that 0 in means that it's significant. It's the first 0 after a non-zero. If that person wrote that in, he is telling you that he knows that it's 0 and not some other number. So there are 4 significant figures here. He did not have to write that 0, and the fact that he wrote it makes it significant. Now, once we know these rules about significant figures, we have to understand that when we do calculations, our answers to those calculations are controlled by the significant figures. How many significant figures we give in the answer is controlled by the significant figures of the data that we have. Now the easy one is multiplication and division. It's simple because the answer is rounded to the same number of significant figures as the factor with the least number of significant figures. So if you have 12 times 148, one has 3 and one has 2, therefore the answer has 2 significant figures. Or 120 times 148 would be the same thing because that 0 is not significant. So for example, you have 13.41, which has 4 significant figures, times 8.72, which has 3 significant figures, and the answer that comes out in your calculator here is 116.9352, which has 7 significant figures. The proper way to express that answer is with 3 significant figures, which means you express it to the ones place, and since the next digit is a 9, you round up to 117. Addition and subtraction is a little different. The results are rounded to the last place that is significant in the least precise measurement. So let's take a look at an example. For example, if we're adding 13.413 plus 18.7, the answer is 32.113. Now the last place in the least precise measurement is the 7 in 18.7. And so the 10th place is where the answer should be rounded off to. And since the next number is a 1, the answer is rounded down to 32.1. How about an average? An average, when you take an average, the average of any particular set of numbers should not have more significant figures than the measured values. So that is, if the measured values, the least precise of the measured values. So if you're taking the average of these numbers, in this case, all 3 of these have the same number of significant figures. Let's say you're taking the average of 52.3, 56.4, and 72.4. If you use a calculator, you add those 3 up and divide by 3, and you get the answer 60.366666. But you should only have 3 significant figures in your answer, so you round up to 60.4. So here, let's see if we can get answers to these particular problems. Get out a piece of paper and work these, and stop the video while you write the answer out. So the first one's 52.4 divided by 16.2912. If you do the division here, your answer should be to only 3 significant figures because your least precise measurement is 52.4. So your answer should be to 3 significant figures. 0.0234 times 23. If you do the multiplication here, your answer should be to 2 significant figures because 23 only has 2 significant figures. And so you should stop after and round either up or down depending on what your answer is. So let me actually do these 2 problems on a calculator and give you what the answer should be. The first one, 52.4 divided by 16.2912, the answer on your calculator is 3.216460420, etc. You should round that up to 3.22. The second one, 0.0 234 times 23, the calculator reads 5382. You should round that up to 0.54. Now here's a sum. It's 341 plus 231.21 plus 341.1 plus 365.215. Now the calculator reads 1,278.525. The least precise measurement is the 341. So the ones place is where your answer has to stop. On the calculator, it's 1,278.525, so that rounds up to 1,279. Here's the last one, 7,513.12 minus 0.23 minus 6,123.1 minus 542. Okay, my calculator says 847.79. The least precise here is the last one, 542, the ones place again. So you would round up from 847.79 to 848 as the answer. Here, let's take this average. 22.4 plus 54.3 plus 61.2 plus 11.3 divided by, there are 4 of them there. The calculator reads 37.325. You have 3 significant figures in each of these, so the answer should be the 3 significant figures. So the answer is 37 rounded down to 37.3. The answer is 37.3.